obviously COVID happened, and before COVID we weren't really taking pictures with masks and sterile equipment and air sanitizers and all that stuff, but now it could be good to get some of that in rotation.
There have been a lot of feedback on posts that are using photos without PPE. Even if the copy mentions that they're using PPE or that they're staying up to code, the comments will be just based on the image, because that's what people are seeing first. They're not taking time to read a full caption or to go to your website and see that you have a notice about what you're doing. Sometimes the photo is just what's catching them. So I think that the photos showing some friendly faces with the PPE, some, personality with the very sterile looking stuff is actually helpful. So
what about, like, what do you tell a practice that's sitting on maybe photography is like 2 years old or 3 years old, or video? Why is now an important time?
Well, that goes into the discussion of the beard. You have a beard that's only a year old, but any photos before that, it just seems a little bit disconnected. And I feel like it's just similar with practices. Team members who aren't there anymore, if you have a new logo, if you have new colors, if you've got a new space that you want to show off.
No, we literally just had this conversation at a content meeting, because I think you were like, oh, this picture's cool, but you don't have a beard. And I was like, I will take a shot at photoshopping a beard on that. COVID or not, how often should dental practices really be refreshing that professional type of content that they're creating?
For professional content, I would definitely say every year. I think that especially for photos, to do a photo refresh of your space, your staff, the faces, and then video too, just to get voices behind it, reviews, like anyone's experience. That all changes over the course of a year. So that would really keep things up to date and shows people you're on top of it.
Yeah. You do a photo session. How much time can you get? How long can you use that bucket of photography?
For a 2-hour session, you could probably use that, on social for a year, or like you can really,
or 3 or 4.
Or 3 or 4. You could stretch it for quite a while. But when you start saying things like, hey, well, those 4 aren't here anymore. That doctor's not here, but this one is kind of over here, and this is what our space used to look like, and you'll find it. It's okay. Like when you start doing that is when you need to just start from scratch, start over.
When you start explaining the photos.
Yes, exactly. When you start justifying and, making excuses for the photos and video and stuff, that's when you need to chuck them.
Why do you think the shelf life isn't as long? Like, why do you think it's now we're like every year professional content session?
I think that people are so used to being able to see what they're getting before they get it. Whether it's Amazon, they know exactly what they're going to get tomorrow on their doorstep. And so any updated images, any updated video, photos, all that, social media, it's just becoming so relevant and important right now.
I love that example of Amazon, because you're so right. Like, I actually, if the photography on Amazon isn't good,
it's true.
Or it's like, because it makes you uncertain about the product.
Yeah. And having a company or a photographer come in, that person will probably take the time to get to know you, your practice, what they should be showing off, if you have new equipment, if you have new team members, and they'll be able to pay special attention to that. And so as long as you have someone who's invested in showing what you do well and telling your story through photo and video, I think that it can only help and improve.
Yeah. You're going to spend, for photography done right, commercially, $2,000 to $5,000. Yeah. Probably same thing for video, maybe more. And it just becomes part of the budget of, now we're communicating on social, we've got that stuff there. So I think some of it for me is like, put that in the budget, have it.
Build it in,
and we do it. Now that you've captured content, we've got photography or video, what are some things you can do with that?
As the social media strategist, that is like my go-to right now. If you have a photo session, you can have content for months on social media, showing images of your space, your doctors, your team, happy patients, happy kids, all that stuff. And it really just helps people, like I said, just social media is where people are going right now to see, what will my dental experience be like? Second place is obviously on your website, just keeping it front of mind when people are looking for you. The other place you can put it is your, Google review page, so that when people are looking up your practice or they're looking for dentist near me, those will pop up there instead of relying on what pictures your patients have posted, which may not be the most curated.
Yeah, I think so many times people, they what they try to do is go, we need to hire somebody to do social media. And usually I'm like, well, okay, so let's back up just one step before that, which is what do we want on social
Yeah.
media? Because you can go hire somebody, but if you don't have the content,
Yeah.
they're just, what are they going to do? Just put a bunch of cans, like templated stuff up, which is no good. But if you can get a photography session done, now you can actually go hire somebody and it's going to meet your expectations because they have stuff to work with, right? What do you do when someone says that they're not photogenic or they hate cameras?
I will raise my hand. What do we do?
Empathize with them.
I empathize. I do. So I would say that the team you're working with is a team that you should trust. So if you are just trying to get the cheapest photographer, you're trying to get the first one that comes up on Google, you're trying to get your uncle's cousin's sister's best friend who's just starting out, that is great, but that is not what you're looking for. You're looking for someone who has a large body of work, who has worked in the types of spaces that you have. If you've got a very cramped practice, smaller rooms, you want to make sure that the person you're working with has done that before. And as long as you are comfortable with them and like knowing that they know what they're doing, the day they show up, it will be like a light switch turns on. They know how to direct you. They know how to show you where to go, what to do with your hands. You know, it's always a rough time. And they will be able to make you comfortable enough to just overcome any of that.
Yeah.
And you'll be shocked when you see the photos and video how good you look.
Yeah, I think probably one of the biggest surprising things to me in just building this company and this agency that I don't think I ever saw coming was how much people management plays a role in great photography and video. And so one of our lead photographers, Jeff, I remember the first time I'd seen some of his work and he got my attention for some other dental practices. So I reached out to him. We booked a session, but his ability to go into a dental practice with a team, take control, have fun, diffuse all the awkwardness, get people to pose right, and communicate to them, and then have great photography. It's crazy.
Photographers have to like multitask on another dimensional level. Like you said, like notice when there's someone who's, you know, taking over when they shouldn't be, or notice when someone is really shy and uncomfortable and figure out how to make that person feel at ease. And they 100% know how to do that. So, and it's wonderful. And when you look back at it and you look at the photos, the experience that you had with the photographer or the videographer is just as important as the final product, because when you see the final product, it just brings all the memories of like the whole thing, and it's just like one great package.
I mean, gosh, you could practice for 20 years, and if you never stop to do photography or video, there is a sense of you're never capturing that.
Yeah.